For my character render and design, I wanted to go for something that was very similar to me in the way it looked, sort of like with the hair color and tall proportions, but also warp it a little bit. So obviously, with most animated characters, they have quite big puppy-like eyes and very long legs, and that's something I wanted to capture in my character. I went back and I just sort of looked at some of my old artwork from college and school, because I particularly liked drawing myself in these cute cartoony ways, and they were just great sources of inspiration for my character design, so I was really glad I held on to those. After some experimentation, I finally came to this design. I feel as though I really captured the cartooniness that I wanted to, if that's a real word. It's got the long, lanky legs, the sort of biggish, round eyes, and the just odd sort of proportions of the large head, the big feet. So I was really happy with that. So the main premise of the character and the adventure surrounding it was apocalyptic. But I feel like within my final renders of the character, it lent more towards the dystopian feel, which I'm still happy with. So here's the final render. I really like how it turned out. Even though it was really simplistic, it still showed the sort of dystopian theme. I took a lot of inspiration from the Maze Runner specifically. That was what sort of like the gateway sort of thing was, with the two pillars either side with the light coming down. That's the sort of feel I wanted to get. I did experiment with like a city scene for an apocalypse, but I really wasn't liking how it turned out. Like this one here, this is one of the, I didn't render this one. This was just a screen grab that I took of me experimenting with it, and I don't know, it just, nothing I did with the camera or the lighting, it didn't look right. So I wanna improve that area of expertise, I suppose. Going into my next year of uni with scene building and world building. I particularly like this one. This one, I wanted to do like a sunset silhouette thing, following that dystopian theme. Like a lot of films, like Maze Runner and Divergent, they have a lot of parkour and platforming, and that's the sort of thing I wanted to do. So now just talking about the character itself, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I just want to talk through some of the processes, how I actually managed to get to the final result. So I obviously started with just a basic block out of the character, then I sculpted it and retopologized it. I used this really cool tool which shrink wraps the polygons to the sculpt, and I could just extrude off of there. And it took a little while to get used to, get comfortable with, because I've never approached retopology before. So it was a real push out of my comfort zone. But the tool I used made it really easy. I got a little clip here, and just showing how I could take what I had from the sculpt, from the polygons, and I could just draw with it almost. And it just made it really simple. I don't think I got the topology perfect. There was definitely some mistakes I made, but seeing as this was the first time I'd done it, I was really happy with how it turned out. I'm really not sure what I could have done differently or would have done differently. I feel like it's just me needing to practice more with topologizing to understand it more and get a better feel of it, and probably studying some pre-made models that already have retopology. So the whole point of me retopologizing in the first place was because I wanted to animate the character doing some form of idle pose or shooting, something along the lines. But it made it really easy to rig the character for posing, which I really enjoyed. So I have some images here of just some little facial poses I've done, and I've never done facial rigging before either. So that was another step out of my comfort zone, but it was really interesting to play with and experiment with. So I'm really glad that I did that, although I didn't put it to much use. And for the hair, I made a simple curved shape. It was like a little triangle. And I parented a object to it to create this shape. So I had the little triangle shape, and I could move it around. I could subdivide it to add more geometry to the hair shape. But I wanted to keep it really simple for that sort of cartoony vibe and feel. But this method made it really easy to just sort of place these shapes onto the headpiece and move it around. So this is a really early stage of the hair where I was still experimenting with it, but it's cool to just show how I could get that hair shape to flow. I had a lot of trouble with the hair, but I eventually came to a final sort of shape that looked good. But I've never done anything quite as sort of advanced as this. This has to be my most detailed 3D model that I've done in maybe a year or two. So it's really pushed me to my sort of limit. But there's so much room to improve, and I really enjoyed this project, and I would like to keep improving from here.